Oh, is it Jen?
Almost time. We're getting there.
You're the dragon for those that celebrate Chinese New Year. It's You're the dragon, yeah, that's good, you're the dragon. Celebrate them all, you're the dragon. No, we should celebrate it.
Okay, everyone. Thank you, everyone. It's 6:30, January 8th, 2024, first meeting of the year. Congratulations, everyone. Happy New Year's, happy holidays. Hope you had some good time off. So just want to get started with the first meeting of the year. And oh, that's the one thing I wanted to talk about. So the recorder is stuck on January 10th. We're making, I don't know why. I can't fix the last meeting too. So that just to let everyone here know that the meeting for January 8th on the recorder is under January 10th. So let's please make note of that. And yeah, we can get started. So we'll start off with the regular city council meeting. And item 1, call to order, Billy Mayfield.
Roxanne O'Neill,
Lydia Bryan Valdez.
Candace Blake,
Tony Valdez.
Glenelle Strawn.
Cynthia McCall.
Okay, thank you very much. Closing that out. Go to agenda item 2, pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to agenda item 3, public comments. Comments will be taken from the audience on agenda or non-agenda related topics. City council will make no comments and take no action during public comments. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes. Any public comments? Okay. Going once, twice, close out. All right, we'll move on to 4, new business. Would move on to 4A, but I don't think is.
Yeah, let's just do.
Okay, we're gonna skip 4A, move down to 4B. Receive and take appropriate action on the December 2023 financial.
You said the door.
Hey, I got this.
How do you open that door? Yeah, it's hard.
Well, I think.
Carefully.
Okay, he's good enough.
Yeah, I was tripped. They just looked like the door that didn't open.
The court, no, it's, I don't know what's wrong with it. I mean,
That doorbell's so weird. I thought it was something was wrong with the computer. When I heard it, I went, what's wrong with the computer?
Something about the computer.
Yeah, I'll see you right here. Hi. We move into, you just get this as you weren't here, I think. I'll get through that one. Okay, thank you. Okay,
Because it's so early in the month, I don't have the December financial report ready. What happens is, by the first or third day, I have everything ready except for the information from PGMS. And they send out 7 or 8 reports on each of the water systems. And then finish my water sales, those entries. So, December looked kind of like every month. We did get the grant for the ice storm, 7,000.
Wow. And how much?
Congratulations, Mayor Harvey.
Invested.
Oh,
That's so-
$7,000.
$803.
So, That's my.
Congratulations, Mayor Harvey.
Okay,
Yay.
and thanks for the updates. We'll skip back up to 4A, consider and take appropriate action on the request from Mohammed Motawala to set up an auto dealership at 1701 West M 1626.
Where is this located?
Mr. Motawala, do you want to approach and
Right across from the vault.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, good evening, guys. My name is Mohammed. I am the leasing of 1701 North FM 1626. And we are leasing it for the next 3 months. And we are planning to open a automotive dealership. And for our automotive dealership, we require a certificate of occupancy, which is why we're here today. We plan on selling only used cars, and that is pretty much it. Just an automotive dealership right here on 1626.
you're just leasing it for 3 months?
3 years.
3 years, okay.
From Mr. Guzman? From the owner?
Yeah, from the owner, right, from the campaign.
Well, recently the property was sold, I believe, back in April, 9 months ago.
Oh.
And, the new owners, they are leasing it to us.
Who is the owner, sir?
It's,
Who owns the property?
It's a company.
it's a company that owns the other lease.
Of course.
The 1701 North FM 1626 LLC. That's the company.
Oh, it's just an LLC?
Yeah, it's an LLC that owns it.
I don't know who owns it then.
Oh, is it Grove? He does that. The rest of the LLC.
Okay. How big is, I have questions as far as, how big is the car lot? How many cars? We're gonna utilize the front yard of the property. And we're gonna put nice gravel and asphalt. Level it up. Take up the
What
grass.
size is the lot?
1 acre, 1 acre and, 1 point.
Wait, one?
Yeah, 1 point, close to 1.1.
And there's a house on it.
Yes, it's a house. So we're gonna use that as an office, yes. So you have water and septic already there, right? Oh, my concern is the hazardous material that comes from the cars when you change the oil and the mechanical work. How are you gonna handle that? We will have a company come out there and dispose it. Or we can take it. See, we're not planning on doing much mechanical. It's just gonna be selling. We're gonna outsource the mechanic pretty much. But I mean, as far as like a little bit of oil change, we can
Yeah.
probably, get a company usually comes and takes care of those waste
Like a disposal?
disposable, or we can take it out to the, auto zones if they take that.
Two questions. How close is this property to Jerry's Lane? Second question is, have you notified the residents around you about your plans?
No, sir, we have not. And with Jared, I think it's what?
It's over here. It's across from the mini golf.
Exactly right across.
Is it in the city of Hayes?
Yes.
It is in the city of Hayes.
It's that lot that was for sale.
Right. No, this is the top of the hill. I believe the zoning for it right now, it's commercial, it's a commercial office right now.
Right.
So we would.
Commercial offices.
Yeah, we did grant that to a small business,
Can we look that up to see who it?
People,
What was
they
the
didn't have,
transaction?
they didn't have mailbox or anything. They just, what was the deal? Where was that?
This is just that.
The Galvans came before they put it on the market. We changed it from residential to retail, small retail as guided by our city code. So,
So the equivalent to commercial?
no.
So it's
No,
not-
no, retail is,
Restrictions,
So that's what it is right now?
yes.
So you
We don't
don't
have
have
commercial
change.
in our city
Yeah,
code. We don't have it. It's
So-
retail.
it's retail, so
Do you
a
have?
car lot is,
That's retail.
retail.
It's retail.
Yeah, it's auto sales, also retail.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Sir, do you, Who's Mr. Motorola?
This-
You, okay. Brothers.
Yeah, we're brothers.
That is awesome. Your parents must be very proud. That is
We live over
awesome.
here too, off of Oak Grove.
Nice. Very nice. Do you have other businesses in the area? And if yes, which ones?
So we have one dealership on by 2001. It's an Old West Trail. So that's one of our dealerships. We're probably, if this is all good to go, we're gonna move over here. Other
So
than
you'll move the business and close that one?
that, it's gonna be a second location.
It's gonna be second location pretty much, because we're tight on space over there as well. So this is a bigger lot, and also in Hayes County, we have a gas station. Yes, it's in San Marcos. It's in San Marcos, yes. And we have a few other businesses in Austin.
Nice.
Stores.
Well, our city engineer is here and he's familiar with all the things that would need to be addressed for you to do your site plan and present it to the council and what you can and can't build. And I guess, you know, we could probably allow our city engineer, Don Schuber, to
Sure.
maybe, have y'all talked before?
No.
Okay.
I'm good enough.
We would
We'd also need
cost
Mr.
reimbursement.
Cats.
We need cost
Look
reimbursement.
through,
please.
We do.
Yeah, but also Mr. Cats to like look through,
Oh, yeah.
because I don't know what the rules versus retail commercial. So we would
It's
need
very
to.
different.
On the,
It's different. Retail to commercial is very different.
We do have no commercial.
Because we have no zoning for it. But you've already signed your lease?
oh,
You already signed your lease?
we're contingent on, if we get the permit.
Okay, so the transaction has not been formalized. You have it's like having rights of refusal.
Yes, we have a right, yes.
Okay.
So we don't get, bonded to.
I just want to make
we
sure
don't
that
waste money.
you haven't incurred the cost without having everything ready, correct? Okay.
So the person who owns the land now is 1701 West FM 1626 LLC.
Yes, I think it's a group of investors.
A group of investors, okay. Yeah, I think I know who it is.
Okay,
So what is?
other than that, I mean, I guess you can apply for a permit and probably any permanent structures are gonna be there and just weren't concerned about, meeting the requirements.
We're gonna use the current structure as office, and basically, we're just gonna put the cars on the front yard, we're gonna convert it into asphalt. And rocks, so we can just park the cars, there's nothing gonna be changed with the building, it's just gonna be converted into office. Pretty much.
Okay.
Sales
What
office.
about lighting and things like that? Is it-
Lighting, we could put a couple of posts, so, in the nighttime, it's not too dark.
You don't want it dark. You want it dark.
We can understand the security aspect, but we prefer dark sky. We prefer dark sky in our city.
We can consider it, not.
I mean,
But I can understand from a security standpoint, you'd want
Yeah,
your
we're pretty
vehicle lit up.
flexible, we're just gonna have motion detecting cameras, like anything, passes by that'll light up.
The coyotes.
Okay,
Mr. Rockshiver, you raise your hand.
May I ask a couple of questions?
Yeah.
I'm happy to kind of brief the council.
Yeah, come on.
On the code and that.
Yeah.
I'm Don Ross Schuber. I'm gonna give you my phone number here. So who owns the property?
This company owns the property.
And you know, when
The LLC. Who
LLC.
owns the LLC?
There's 3 or 4 investors.
Okay, so first of all, the city's code, I mean, this is a zoning question. If the council were to approve this, it could possibly be handled on what's called a special use permit. Because they're asking for like a 3-year term, use of the property. Now, by code and by when y'all changed the zoning for residential a couple of years ago, the Galvin property, to retail, it was, kind of foundation based on, well, it'll follow the code on what type of use. And of course, auto dealership sales is not in the code specifically, because there's a list that I have brought a copy, I will give you a copy of it. Barber shops, beauty shops, realtor business, doctor's office, that sort of thing is in the code. So this is a non-code plat. So it would require not only, and I can research a little more on the special use side, that kind of sounds like this would fit there, but it still would require certain variances through the city code to allow this. It's a 1 acre tract. Yes, they're gonna just do gravel, but there could be runoff and increased runoff from the property. Could be sediment moving from the property, so it may require some sort of detention or just storage or treatment of that, whatnot. There's could be light issues, on how they plan on to, illuminate the parking lot and their hours of operations could come into concern or to question what the council might want. And the, the impact on traffic come off of 1626. So there's quite a number of, things we don't know. The procedure would be if the council said, well, we'll take a look at this, not make a commitment one way or the other. Then they would have to make an application, a formal application. And we kind of dealt with this back in October of 23. Does this gentleman, Ali,
Yes.
is he?
He sounds familiar. Yeah, I think he's one of the investors. He is one of the investors. He's also the broker.
Yeah. So on October 13, 2023, I prepared an email and I sent this to the mayor and Roxanne, and Mr. Davis, Harvey Davis, kind of outlining, because he was proposing to put in the music. Right.
Yeah.
So I outlined, dug through the code and outlined sort of the specific first cut review of what music venue would have to meet in terms of the code and the variances that would be required. So I think these gentlemen are probably looking for sort of a thumbs up, thumbs down sort of thing. You don't have to go that far if you want to. If you want to consider it, we would kind of follow the code, obviously, require applications, site plans, public notices to neighbors, and but we'll need a lot more detail, right?
Cost reimbursement for all expenses
Consider this.
incurred by the council.
But it's might be a little bit of uphill fight because that specific use is not included in the code currently, so it would require.
I have a question too. What about fencing and like making it so that it's not really seen from the?
Well, the current fence,
It's in a hill.
Privacy fence.
It's a privacy fence
No
already.
difference.
We would put like a grill fence like across the street has it, like that, meeting golf place has.
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
that kind of fence requirement. And it's required by the state, I believe, to have a
Right, that has it.
boundary.
Yeah.
about how many cars do you usually have on a lot?
The volume
Your lots?
About 25 to 30 cars
a month at one time.
at one time.
A month, what's the turnover?
Turnover is about, right now, we're at 4 or 5 cars trying to order.
A day?
No, a month.
No.
But well, once this gets to like, bigger location, it'll be more.
This is the land right now and already has a fence.
I have a question, Don, regarding the special use permit that we could consider. Would this permit follow the leasing only, or is it attached to the property? In other words, after their lease runs out of the 3 years, the people who own the property could piggyback on top of that permit that we issued.
No, I mean, I
We have a
think,
music venue.
I think the permit, we can make it this, if we give a permit, it'd be for 3 years, and after 3 years, the permit is done. They have to come back.
Well, what if they have their lease another 3 years? That was my question.
They have to come back to the
Does it
council.
follow the property, or does it follow these 3 gentlemen who want to operate a business there? That's what
Follow the
yeah,
lease or the lien or the holder.
Yeah, if
The
they
address of the
get the
message.
permit as a lease and then, the owner decides that he wants to piggyback onto that special permit,
And open the music venue or other things.
I mean, a permit is a permit, it has a beginning date and ending date, so after 3 years it ends, they have to come back
I don't
another.
know, that's why I was asking Don.
But we can,
What is the
we
length of time we give the permits?
Do we put a length of time for the permits?
You could.
Does it have an
all sorts of
expiration?
Conditions and Christmas alarms, I think that you
Yeah.
want there. I would recommend though, that any special use permit or any special zoning be tied to the owner of the land. And
Yeah.
And that's the.
as opposed to a third party leasee,
The brothers.
Okay.
right? Now it's a legal question. You got a great attorney out there.
Yeah.
So, but I would lean, being an old code writer and interpreter, leaning towards, if this was to come about, it would be with the owner. And then the lease could be subject to kind of the council review as far as being sure that lighting and water quality, but water quality, drainage, lights, that's property information, right?
That's neat.
Ties, it's buried in the property,
Okay.
you know, put on the property, probably should be with the property owner. And then the lease would be then have to craft whatever would be with the attorneys and the three gentlemen. Make sure it fits all the code requirements.
Okay. Yeah, we were all concerned when we heard that they were looking to operate a music venue, events venue on that hill. Especially all of us who live on Live Oak. I mean, that's right in my backyard.
The city doesn't have in the code a certificate of occupancy sort of thing. This is like a city of Austin or a Butte thing, a larger city where someone will come in and request, well, I want to install, you know, a law office or a barber shop, a car wash, you know, especially use permit. It's there. It could be have any length of time. Especially when first was came in the city of Hayes, I remember some resident down the road down in County Lane wanted to put in a RV or B&B sort of thing. It didn't quite fit. It fits under the special use type category permits. So I think that's the way this would be handled if the council wanted to do that. But I think that third party owner needs to be kind of.
Okay, so any kind of variances and special permits that we get is attached to the owner of the property.
Well, again, there's a legal question and liability from the city.
Yeah.
We also have enforcement issues.
Enforcement,
Yeah.
To enforce that is
Also, because we don't have enforcement.
very.
We're pretty flexible and, you know, we will respect y'all's decision and if you have any concerns, we can consider that, like you said about the lighting issue, and we can work around it. And it's, you know, we're pretty flexible.
Yeah.
The reason I like this spot is because it's right close to our house. It'll be very close to us. And its space is good and there's a lot of visibility, there's a lot of traffic on 1626, so we can attract
Yeah.
a lot of customers.
Now, Caddy Corner on the opposite side, there's always, do y'all own that? There's a piece of land that always has cars for sale. But I don't know who the land belongs to, but there's always vehicles for sale, but no sign.
Yeah.
I've seen it
Who's
right
on
right-
that
right
left
by
hand?
the
Yes.
street of Vallejo.
We have a competitor there and we don't know who they are, right?
The city owns it. It's pretty beautiful, right?
But they just allow people to sell their cars there?
Yeah. It's a very nice
They just park
spot.
their cars there and put a sale sign on them.
And they sell them.
You think so?
They
And they do sell them?
All right, let's stick to the
Okay.
dealership talk. So I think there's a number of things we need to know, like more information on how you're gonna lay out your dealerships and then also tying back our request to the LLC. And then also having Mr. Katz get his eyes. Mr. Katz is our representation for the city. He's out on vacation today, right, I believe. And so we'll need to do that before we can really make a sound decision on what we would like to see if we do move forward.
But they're also cost reimbursement for all the expenses that we incur.
Absolutely.
Do we
That's
come
in
to
our
that?
fee
Do we have the fee
schedule.
schedule and do they have a copy?
They will, I mean, we'll pass that along, our city treasurer will get all that information, or our city secretary will get that information to you all.
The permit.
But that would be the expectations of the work that we're doing to get this all together to be reimbursed.
Legal
So,
engineering and everybody else involved.
I think they need to have like, you know, what our code and what we like impermeable surfaces, all the, how far back things have to be, boundaries, barriers in between, whatever, if there needs to be. There's just a whole lot of things having to do with drainage.
That requires getting with our city engineer.
Right.
And there is a fee for that. So, that's probably where we need to go.
I guess they need an outline of requirements, an outline of requirements, what they need to provide us.
Typically, we wait on an application, fees to be filed with the application. Then there would be a memo like this, an email like this is for that music venue.
Well, we get
But many of the cited code references apply to this as well. Plus maybe it's code. But,
I guess we can provide them with a sample. We'll know what to provide in the application.
right. And, it was a very long, we have a very long application, so we let our application. If the council's okay, I mean, this memo or this email is public record, I can. And it's sort of a preliminaries go by at this point, and, if they want to proceed ahead. But again, you submit a site plan. As much detail you can, impervious cover calculations, how you're gonna handle drainage, how you're gonna handle the lighting. You're gonna have a repair shop there? It'll just be, Don Chapman type sales.
Yeah, we're pretty much outsourcing all of our work. It's just gonna be minor things like, airing up the tires and then just changing the oil. That's about it. And nothing major, not a body shop, no painting, no heavy work, engine changing or anything like that. That's all gonna be outsourced.
I put my phone on the top. Sure. You're free to call anytime. That, again, now that's was for a different application in terms of using any of the code references outside in there.
So you're saying that there would be codes we have to follow for the dealership, or you're gonna come up with a email?
The next code is on the website.
It's city website, yeah, it's on there, you can download that, and then if you put a formal request, we could also send that to you.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
to the city email. We could get that to you, I believe electronically. So I'm a little confused, is this something we take action on, or do we just kind of table this for?
We could let them fill the
Next.
application submitted,
Okay.
as far as I know. That's-
Okay, so there are some steps that we've given you.
Steps.
File for a permit, the information in there. You need to follow. If you have any questions, you can email the city email and it'll get to the appropriate groups here at the city and we can accommodate those requests that you're making. And then we can further discuss this at our next meeting. Yeah.
Right.
Should we officially table it for
Do
today?
you have
And
a card or if not?
Yes, sir.
is it officially tabled?
So with that, item.
Before we, there's two things, I mean, the attorney, I mean, we have the lessee and the owner of the property, so the application has to be with the owner, so that we probably need a legal interpretation from our lawyer.
After they
Before
apply.
that, and you need to talk to the owner,
Write down your email.
I need to talk to the
They're
owner,
applying first, so.
All of it.
yeah, they need to talk to the owner and see what's up before, if the owner says no, then
Yeah,
they don't have to go to the permit,
yeah, and we'll
I'm sure they're gonna wanna do it.
update.
I don't know. We'll see.
minutes, and so he can get filled in by.
for work.
Right.
The owner needs to apply for the formal application. We do it
I think it needs to be tied, we were saying it needed to be tied to the.
to the company that owns it.
Because the special use would fall to the owner of that property. That's what we're saying is not you, the third party,
Right.
needs to be with them.
So
So,
we're gonna sit down with him and talk.
yeah, and then obviously,
So the company that owns it, that's gonna file, the LLC is gonna file the application, I believe, because there's more than one owner.
so.
Since they're gonna be the lessees, they'll have all legal.
Yeah.
We know
I don't know,
Mr. Katz
that's
is gonna
why
be-
I'm saying, yeah, we need to get
Yeah.
Mr. Katz to get his eyes on this and give us direction.
It gets complicated in a hurry with the legal eagles and liabilities that are involved.
Yeah, so, So if there's no other questions from council, I will table this and then, the Motorola brothers are free to stay, or you're,
Nice meeting you, gentlemen. I have a question. Who's the eldest brother? You. I thought it was you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening.
Okay, so, agenda item 4 is we are tabling, this for consideration until next month. Number of questions and, to-do actions to follow, and so I'll be bringing this up next council meeting in February. Great, all right. Moving on to agenda item 4C. Take action to approve the minutes for December 11th, regular city council meeting.
Hey, I have something to say. Under public comments on the minutes, Anna Baloo suggested that there be only one trash at 2 locations. I thought it was supposed to be opposite. I thought she wanted 2 trash cans at 1 location, so we didn't have to have as many volunteers.
No,
She
no.
said,
It was her opinion that, having 2 at 1 location was not workable, given the size of the dumpsters and everything.
just the way they open up, it would be part of the maneuver.
Well, then
Has that been proposed already? Just do one site and have 2 dumpsters there?
That's what he proposed and Hannah said.
And Hannah was
that,
that.
but
Yeah.
The way the dumpsters open and the way they
Right.
drop them off, it would.
Yeah, backing up
Yeah.
to 2,
So we keep it as it is, 1 trash can per location.
Yeah.
All right, that works.
Everything else was good. That was the only.
Anything else? Okay. All right, if there's no other suggestions or comments on December 11th, meeting minutes, I would suggest a motion to approve, minutes.
I'll follow motion to approve the minutes.
A motion has been made.
December minutes.
Look at that.
One else seconds. Motion has been made. Take this to a council vote. All in favor? All in favor. Thank you. And this is it, I hope. Okay, moving on to agenda item 4D, take action on request to sponsor the 2024 total eclipse event at City Hall on April 8th, 2024.
Okay, that's my baby.
All right,
I suggested,
okay,
always up for a good party. Hey, this is the total eclipse. Like I said, we'll be in 2 minutes of totality right here. There's an excellent view in front of the city hall. We have chairs we can use, a carport, bottled water. Maybe somebody can bring some snacks. I'd like to have this well advertised, like in the Hayes happenings, and maybe even make a couple of signs. The event will start about 11:20. I think totality is 1 p.m. on April the 8th. And then the ending will be somewhere around 2:30, if I've got my times right. Regardless, that's kind of what I would like to do is this is a once in a lifetime.
This Monday?
It's a Monday.
April.
Yeah, April the
It's
8th.
Benjamin's birthday.
It is a Monday. Yes.
the work day.
Just as a reference, when I was 23 years old and a student at UT, they had an annular eclipse and were setting up Machi telescopes. And the guy said, well, if you're going to be alive in 2024, Austin's going to have a total eclipse.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm going to be 72 years old. Will I ever live to see that? Here I am. And I'm so excited. I mean, if you guys saw the annular eclipse, it was awesome and more awesome than I ever would have thought. And what I would like to do also is buy those solar glasses for
Oh,
people, because that made the entire difference. I mean, you could just sit back and watch and watch and watch. They're great, and they're very cheap. Amazon has something like 25 for $30 or something like that. I don't know if
Yeah,
they have
really
more than
cheap.
25
Yeah.
people, or we could share. You know, I've got mine left over. But I also wanted to bring up the fact that I would like this to be a DYOD. And bring your own drink. We will not serve alcohol from the city. The liability is too much. But if someone wants a
So will
beer
we
in their
allow someone
car,
to bring alcohol into the property?
well, that's the thing. Do we need to make an exception for that one afternoon where
I wouldn't.
alcohol could
You have to
be?
submit
I
some
wouldn't
kind of
because
a,
of the liability.
you have to submit something to.
What time is it during the middle of the day, right?
We're gonna encourage
It's-
it's 1
it's
o'clock in
not
the
gonna be that
afternoon.
I don't know, nobody's been
No,
drinking.
It's gonna
a couple
get
of
smashed.
So
hours.
it's like, what?
Well,
It's a Friday afternoon, we're.
Now,
It's Monday.
Monday,
I mean,
the Monday
I-
at the middle of the
it's
day.
lunchtime, it's lunch.
So
Lunchtime.
yeah, I mean, like, so I would suggest, we haven't had a social in a while, right? So
Right.
I don't know why we couldn't allocate like $250 to buy just like
Oh, most
regular
definitely.
sodas or.
Yeah, so does.
Yeah.
Maybe like $100 or something.
Yeah.
Whatever else.
And then that kind of helps pay
Whatever
for
else,
whatever, like, we need to get out, but, you know, I don't know who could be off on a Monday. So that might limit the
We
people.
can all be off on
But-
Monday.
Take off.
So,
Circle it right now, take the day off.
There's gonna be a lot of.
That's
people.
right, ask for the time off, right?
so I would suggest, yeah, we could do that. I mean, I can lend some coolers. to-
Month
so
before the
people
election
can,
too.
You know, do that and, yeah, just have a. like,
Yeah,
something,
no,
you know.
just no.
So- I would say bring your own seats, you know, like at least bring your own chairs or.
Some chairs.
We can have some of these chairs out there. Just make it very simple and then, you know, maybe. some cookies.
And if the weather holds and it's not raining, it should be fine.
Showers, Mayflowers, yeah.
So-
Let's see.
So that would be my suggestions and, you know, we can get, I guess, a small committee to talk about like what you want to buy and what to provide and yeah.
We'll send the flyers out or something or.
Party at City Hall.
Yeah, we're gonna advertise heavily in the Hayes happenings. We're gonna put a
Website.
sign around town, you know, like 2 weeks before.
But it's only for our residents, correct?
Yes, we're not putting it on next door, but we can put it on the
Only for our
website.
city residents.
You can be Hayes specific on next door.
Oh, yeah, you can, then other people see it.
You know,
I would say for City of Hayes residents
talk to
only.
your neighbors, invite them, plan ahead.
Yeah.
You know, it's 3 months out from
If
today.
somebody comes to
Exactly.
separate, that's fine, you know, but,
Yeah. I mean,
we
Some
don't want.
should be
We don't know party crashers.
Do we have music?
I want to like worry about
People want
other
to
people.
talk.
I mean, that's good for the city if other people
Right.
like.
Of course.
and,
Yeah,
Like, if we run out of food or we run out of drinks, whatever, like
Yeah.
people are there. You see this once in a while, why wouldn't you want to share that with people, right? So let's be more open about that if anyone else.
What's the
that's
time?
great.
Between 1 PM and 2:30?
It's the totality. It will start about an hour and 45 minutes before that and finish an hour and 45 minutes on top of that.
So,
You can look it up online, you know, and it's posted everywhere.
So noon
So is
to,
it gonna be in the February, March, April?
It's April the
But
8th.
no.
one is in the middle, so.
so actually,
every month, or
it's
just-
actually 12:30 to 2:30, so
Harvey,
we
can
do
we put
12
that in the
to
Hayes
2:30.
happenings
March,
like
April.
every month and then maybe make up a couple of those signs, you know, like campaign signs and stick around the strategic parts. Speaking of signs,
2024 total eclipse event, right? 2024 total eclipse event.
it's gonna be the.
We'll do whatever you all. So why don't you make a motion?
yeah, so again, it's just a
Do
small
whatever
committee,
you want, of course.
to kind of work
Thank you,
and
Mary.
get this all planned out.
Well,
And I'd say, what is the limit, $100, $200 spend on it?
Next time, next year.
Oh, 200 should do it. I mean, you can pick up like glasses for.
Yeah, and again, we
$30.
haven't had a social in
That would
a
be
long
fun.
time,
It would
so
be
Forever.
let's do
Talk to
something
your
with the
neighbors.
city.
We're doing an ice cream social later that month too. maybe.
Only one thing, that's right in the middle of election, no talking elections.
No.
No city business
Oh,
discussion
no.
because we all have quorum,
Yeah.
so.
Right, yeah, we'll be a quorum, so maybe, maybe not, but anyway.
Well, you're not
no
supposed to anyway,
discussion.
I don't
so.
worry about it.
I'd like to file a motion. Yes.
Wait, hold on, is there also like a committee that?
I'd like to be on the committee since I'm.
Let's make this,
I'll be on the committee.
okay.
Three people?
Three's in committee, all right, so let's. So yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to file a motion that the city of Hayes represent, that we have a 2024 total eclipse event at City Hall, April 8th. Hours from 1 to 2:30, 1 to 3.
12:30 or 2:30.
Oh, why don't we do like 11:30 to 2 or something like
11.
that, so. Yeah.
30 to 2:30 maybe, 11:30 to 2:30, just in case.
2:30.
11:30 to 2 p.m. and that we also allocate $200 a budget attached to that event for snacks,
Glasses.
glasses, snacks and things like that, items needed for this event.
All right. motion has been made. Second.
We can make the motion.
All right,
Leah made the motion.
okay, motion has been approved, take it to a council vote, all in favor? All in favor?
Party's on.
What about bringing drinks?
No.
Bring your own, right?
Bring your own drinks?
We'll just bring their own tumbler, whatever. We're not gonna know what's in it.
Don't have-
Don't
don't
ask,
have-
don't tell.
There we go, now.
They show up with their pink Stanley cup, whatever's in it.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Favorite champagne.
All right, thanks, everyone. So now we've got community, you guys all can discuss and whatever.
Pink Stanley cups or something.
We'll move on to 4E, appropriate action on request to approve an update part 6 of the water tower. Don?
I can't tell you how great it is to be back before you back.
Welcome back, sir.
So, we, section focuses on the tariff that y'all ended, a few meetings ago. And only focus on the penalties for exceeding some use, and that starts on page 6, it's all highlighted with yellow, it's kind of gray. Oh, the Xerox machine broke through that, so it's gray. The focus of this is you've adopted tariff changes with changes in water rates for water use, both in the both in the city of Hayes water system. The same tariff applies to the Elliott Branch water system. The sections from the start of the doc, this chapter 6 through 615 are all the same. But we were working in wrestling with how do you apply penalties in terms of excessive use and the installation of flow restrictors and the possibility for termination of service. So that needed some framework work on. I want to thank Mr. Davis and Ms. Wright. Ms. Wright's been on, has valuable input and review of this, and I hope she's online.
She's
on. Lois.
Yep.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Lois.
And, so
You're right.
worked on several versions of this, and this has probably been going on since October or so, last year, maybe November. Then I had that kind of step back for a while. But, what you see for you is it's sort of a version of the version that was in your packets.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no significant changes. It's limited one paragraph was duplicate that Ms. Wright had called, and then cleaned up the language and formatting and so forth. So first paragraph A in code 6.17, capital penalties for wasteful water use and excessiveness, exceedance, excuse me. focus on defining what is excessive use, what is the waste of water use. And so I researched a number of California ordinances, which water is very private, as well as Texas ordinances. And also supporting this is the city's drought user contingency plan. It's a plan, it's the ordinance that the city passed on January 2010. My knowledge is still in place today. And this was passed as part of your permitting process through the Barton Springs Interzoning Conservation District. They require part of that issuing the permits for production, both for CIAs and Elder Ranch, that you adopt, the city adopts as the owner of the territory, a water conservation plan, certain restrictions, minimum standards, as well as a user drought contingency plan. In the user drought contingency plan, it needs to be updated a little bit because this plan doesn't include the latest stage that the district has implemented, which is the exceptional emergency stage. So we might need to update this, but it does set forth and defines what's water restrictions, what is considered water waste. And I've used it as a format, then for the 6.16, but it also for alarm, for critical drought, exceptional drought, and emergency drought is not specifically covered here, but it does reference a fifth stage, if you would. So that's why I want to kind of think the language a little bit in it, but it does reference that what is defined as wasteful use. And it does reference the penalties and consequences in the drought user plan, unified drought conservation plan. The possibility of installation of flow restrictors on connections with continued waste, UDCP violations or excessive consumption of prescribed use, and it also provides for a third bullet point in your UDCP, possible service cutoff and reconnection fees on connections with continued waste. So the tariff then needs to reflect that sort of language, but it's in your drought contingency plan, part by the Barton Springs District. So on page 6 at the bottom, then define using many of the wording out of the user drought plan what constitutes a waste of water. And they are hosing off sidewalks, driveways, and other landscapes, washing automobiles or other vehicles with hoses not equipped with an automatic shutoff valve nozzle, using non-recirculating water fountain or other decorative water feature, watering lawns in a manner that causes runoff or non-designated lawn irrigation days, or within 48 hours of measurable rainfall. That actually came out of California. Number 5 is using water in violation of the city's user drought contingency plan. That's the reason for the plan, using that. And number 6, not properly repairing water leaks in the customer side of the water system within 48 hours of discovery of same. And number 7 on the next page is using water in excess of the maximum billions alcohol allowable usage, which is set forth in statement 6. And so for these 3 stages is where this would apply. Barton Springs stage 3 critical drought, Barton Springs stage 4 exceptional drought, and stage 5 emergency drought. So if a customer within under the tariff, let's say for stage 3 uses more than 30,000 gallons, the customer's bill will get calculated on the tariff in the front part of section 6, right? Rates, right? But if it goes over 30,000 gallons, then that is considered waste of water, And the customer would bill the rates for that overage. 30,000 at $8.50 per 1,000 gallons in stage 2, $9.50 gallons in stage 4, and $10.50 in stage. This would be the stage 5, the emergency draft.
Makes sense.
Next paragraph then is an attempt to how do you do this? So paragraph B, it says that when we're in a drought stage, this is usually that stage 4, that one. If the customer's use was more than 30,000 gallons in one billing cycle, 1 month, if you would, one billing cycle, then a warning would be sent out. A letter, a door hanger, means it's important. So they're warned that, hey, watch out, you're over the use. And then, but we're not gonna levy the $8.50 or the $9.50 charge. We will calculate the water bill as normal. Okay. Then, but for the second billing cycle, the next billing cycle, like the first, then would charge the exceedance surcharges in table 6.1. Okay, this was the second notice. So we give them a warning. I think it's very fair and reasonable. And then the second, this over the second month, and we are PGMS would add the surcharge to the bill to try to get their attention. And then also by letter, by door hanger. And then if they go to the third month, that's when you can kick in possibility of within flow restrictions. That's per the user route.
Is there a charge, a fee that they incur when you install the flow restrictor? How much does it restrict on their flow? And how long is it on there?
Well, so on paragraph E, it tends to address that question. There's a flow restricting
thank
device
you.
installed will remain
14
installed
days.
for no less than 14 days.
30
And up to 30 days from the first time it was installed, 90 days for the second time, that's the case you gotta continue with it, and then up to 180 days. So it gets to be pretty.
But how much volume does it restrict?
It'll restrict the volume
To
in
this,
that 70 to 80%.
We're restricted by 70%?
Yeah. But you're taking a washer,
That was my question.
you know, it's got 8-inch hole
So
or.
not by 50, but by 70 or 80%. They may not be able to do laundry, they may not be able to do.
I think they can still do it indoor, but you gotta kind of do indoor. So it is straightening outdoor.
Can we control the restrictor? I mean, I was under the impression that it was 50%.
70 or 80 is quite a bit.
70 or 80 is quite a bit, like she said, I don't know if our washing years would work.
You could put in the code, the percent restriction, and then you, the washer that goes in there, then would have a different diameter to meet the goal, given a certain pressure,
Uh-huh,
right, on the water system, pushing through it to give a certain 50% reduction.
yeah,
But it'd be a calculated number based on your plan.
okay, so we could do that.
Because I would cut their water in half, water usage in half would be
Yeah, I
50%.
mean, that's kind of where we wanted to go with this.
So did you say that it restricts both inside and outside use?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It'll
the
restrict
meter,
any water use on the customer side of the meter.
Yes.
70 to 80%.
So you can't, like, generally when, and I know this,
So
because
that-
the plumber lives right next to me. Like, you can run your laundry and take a shower. That's gonna use about 6 to 7 gallons per minute. That's fine. If you get up to more than that, like say, like 2 people are showering, then you got your dishwasher and you're doing laundry, your water's going to like start fluctuating and whatnot. So they would see that if they were doing all of that. I can't see a lot of people doing that all at once, and they would know quickly that they can't do that. They would do one at a time, or just call and say, hey, I'm gonna pay the bill, that's removed. And that's the point, right? Is to.
But
No, they're not paying the
because then they
bill.
would be able, then they'd be able to do what they want.
Right.
What we're trying to do is restrict water usage,
Right.
not say,
Just-
pay me and I'll let you do
Just,
whatever you
hey,
want.
don't abuse the water rights or this will happen. And you'll quickly see that water is a luxury. Like we've seen it when
Mhm.
our water is going out, like how much, we use water, right? And so that luxury goes away real
But
quick.
people who've been using these volumes don't care. They
Oh,
don't
they'll
care. We were
care
in
when the-
stage 3 and they
They'll
did
care
not
when their
care.
water gets cut 60%.
So
Sure, that would
if they, when they get it turned back on, you go through the whole thing of giving them a warning again, or does it go right back on? I mean, do they really
What's
get
the
their
charge for the?
There's no,
So the
Go right back to the restrictor.
section is worded. It could be the city or the city's operator. This makes PGMS. And if you monitor.
Says that their
When you
discretion.
get to the last paragraph,
To the account.
it puts it on the city who's going to adjudicate. Right.
Mm.
If the customer wants to file a claim or file a appeal letter,
Litigation.
that would be carried out. It has to be done by the words in this document now. Any appeal has to be done within 15 days of the receipt of one appeal that says, your mayor saying, hey, you're gonna have a flow restrictor installed. Or they install a flow restrictor through PGMS, and they can still protest their bill, but that would, in my opinion, need to come to council. Something that probably should be a PGMS,
Yeah.
unless you want it.
no,
So correct. And that's what really the last paragraph say is the appeal process. Put a 15-day time limit on filing that appeal, written appeal
Yeah.
to the city and, about the excessive, still going for the normal water use for the tariff. The tariff, if it's appealed, that we bill for the appeal for the amount of the excessive use. They don't have to pay it. But it's there to, if they have to pay it, they don't appeal. If they do appeal, then that gets to be in.
It's in dispute.
Range from.
It's in dispute.
Council standpoint. It will put some demand, I think, on the city.
Yeah, I mean,
It's that sort of.
the water, it's just, there's no way you would exceed this by using indoor water use. It's the outdoor water use, right? It's
Mhm.
the outdoor
Pool.
water use, right? And
Yes.
so, we'll just have to learn to not do that or all the consequences here.
And they're just gonna pay their way out of it.
I think we let it go as is and see what we come back with, and we can always adjust it, but we gotta pull the
If you
trigger
can
and
do
get this
50%
done.
or 60%, not 70, 80%. Maybe reduce the percentage a little bit.
I mean,
I think that who's ever doing it is going to continue to do it, and they're just gonna
Well, the thing
strong arm their
about
way out of it.
the reduction in pressure really affects the Elliott Range
Mhm.
people because they have wall sprinklers.
And they're our biggest
So
customer.
once you can't get the pressure to water wall to wall, then yeah, they might cut back and just water the few trees they want to save. I mean, grass. Yeah, I haven't had grass in years. I've got green weeds. I cut them, looks like
Mhm.
grass.
That's true.
But, you know.
until we go with what we got, I go, we go what this represents, and if we have any complaints or anything, we can always adjust it.
True.
But we're not gonna get their attention if we go only 50%.
Well, we just amended this. To amend it after amending it, not even seeing how this is going.
Right.
Crazy.
My thing is, this is gonna be more like a trial and error thing until we understand how our constituents are gonna respond. And then we're trying to save water and we're trying to use it properly.
Yeah, I'd say we go with it, amend as needed. And really, we really won't find out what's really going on until July.
But yeah,
Has Mr. Katz reviewed this document? Has Mr. Katz reviewed this document?
Yeah.
He's reviewed it, Joshua Katz? has reviewed
Lawyer.
I already did.
it. Has Mr. Katz reviewed this document and provided his legal opinion?
Recommend, I do.
So he has not done that.
One other potential issue, and both are. These are drought things as well as this, and that's disconnections.
Mhm.
The water code's pretty clear that a utility, a retail public utility can't disconnect. Now, reviewing the substantial rules of the Public Utility Commission, which regulates retail public and rules and regulations. There's a division, I make copies if you want to see it. There's a division in the adequacy of water service that kind of suggests that a retail public utility can disconnect if they have an approved TCEQ approved user route connection. And then in another section of the chapter 24 suspension rules addresses that you only have 4 or 5 things you can do to disconnect. And most important is they don't pay the bill. Then a utility retail has the ability to disconnect after certain letters and communications to do that. So I think it does need legal review, especially on that point. Disconnection of service, because that's cutting a customer off and cut off their lifeline flows.
Exactly.
You really don't want to be in that position, unless it's absolutely necessary. Hopefully it wouldn't ever get to that. But you can't restrict.
One question is, I mean, when we install the restrictors, the installation, I didn't see any cost in here. Yeah, I don't really missed it. I think I missed it.
Yes.
Are they gonna be charging the water bill for that as a miscellaneous cost, or how are they gonna get charged to the customer?
So we can just keep kind
It
of.
was a consent section 6, it's above section 6.
It's, yeah, it's on page 3 at the bottom.
Page 3?
Bottom at the bottom of page 3.
And the review.
Oh, okay. Okay.
$75.
I missed it. Okay.
Oh, here it is.
I was-
Bottom of page 3.
I was reading the yellow part. I was reading.
It's $100.
Yeah, okay,
And then 75 to
yeah,
remove.
okay. That's fine.
So do we have to specify in the ordinance how the percentage of the flow restrictor, or is it just?
Is there a standard? Is there a norm? Or do we have to specify 50, 60, 70, 80 ourselves?
The more that you define, the better position you're in. It's 50% or 70%. If we leave it up to like a BGMS, like an operator,
What do they do?
you know, they don't have the guidance. Well,
There's no industry norm as to what they do when they install a restrictor? There's no industry norm as to what the flow restrictor is supposed to,
I haven't really run across that.
Limit?
Research that particular question. I think it's worth researching. You want to, the idea is to shave off those high water uses during the critical
course.
routes, right? Because the city would be paying for fees, penalties to the Varsity District.
right?
That'd be the main, I don't know what they are now. Did they repeal the emergency condition in the district with these recent riots?
Not yet.
Oh, I think Kyle or Buda did.
We're in stage 4.
We're still in stage 4, but somebody's in stage 3, Buda.
We're in 3 now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can definitely research that more as far as size, but it's a function of pressure. More flow in the head loss, pressure loss, you're getting from one side of that washer to the other side.
It might be a deterrent for them to know how much, if they continue, it might be a deterrent for them to go that far. They knew how much their water was going to be restricted.
Okay, so I guess it sounds like we need a little more information and something more detailed in this description on page 6, maybe. Mr. Ralph, if you could do more research on like industry norm on restrictors, and then that way we can also have Mr. Katz review the specific sections that you're asking him to review to get his blessing on, you know, if we did need to cut someone off. And so my suggestion would be to get that information into this document reviewed by Mr. Katz, and then we can further look at this at the next council meeting. So I have all to say that we should just table this for more information, unless anyone here has anything different.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, I guess I would like to see if we're gonna put a descriptor and a percentage on how much water can restrict.
That's exactly what I.
So I can see different, there's 50%, 60%, 75%, or 80%. We as a council is gonna have to decide what percentage we're gonna apply.
Unless there's an
Put it in
industry
the
norm
code.
already that we're
Yeah,
not aware of.
gonna research the industry norm and then we can decide next meeting
Okay,
what we feel comfortable with. So, agenda item 4E is tabled, for next.
Thank you,
council
Don.
meeting, pending more information and a legal.
Thank you, sir.
on Mr. Cat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Welcome back, Don. We missed you.
Yeah, good to see you.
you're still in good form, Don.
Okay, moving on to 4F, review the fireworks ordinance and possibly take action.
Well, you have in your backup the firework ordinance
Yes.
that passed in.
Wow.
A long time ago.
Was kind of a compromise deal, and it seemed to only apply to the 4th of July, of course, we have fireworks.
Oh, for New Year's.
Twice a year, and it only applied to aerial fireworks. So, the question would be, like
Yeah.
most cities, would you like to just ban fireworks? Of course, the problem is.
It's enforcement. We don't have an enforcement.
Yeah,
That's right.
You know, Austin bans them, and my daughter lives in South Austin, and but she had as much as we, you know, they had tons of those. I mean, they
I don't think police come out or do anything anymore. Now, the live rounds were most concerning.
We already got it.
The gunshots were scary. Yeah. Layers, right? Yeah, I heard gunshots.
So I guess, what are we supposed to do here?
well, the question is, does the council want to change the fire ordinance, or do you want to leave it as is?
Leave it as is.
Yeah.
Yeah, leave it as.
Without enforcement, even if we change it, it's better.
Last year, we approved an ordinance that limited nothing after 10 p.m.
I think what we did last year is that we sent out the ordinance in a mailing so that people had the information ahead of
A
time.
reminder.
As a
Yeah.
That's a good
reminder.
idea. We could send it out before 4th of
Yeah.
July, maybe in the Hayes happenings once or twice.
Usually that's the worst time because we're right in the middle of a hot summer.
And that's very dangerous for our
Yes.
properties.
I
That
never leave the house on those days
Mhm.
because my eye is on that
Mhm.
field.
So-
It's a problem.
Yeah, that's what we did last year, is that we sent it out as a reminder. And I remember one of the residents commenting at one of the meetings how much of an improvement it was.
Okay.
At the
we could do the same again.
So nothing after 10 p.m. Was that the one?
No, we just sent this out as a
We sent-
reminder.
We sent out the ordinance
Saying, hey, just a reminder.
as a
So
reminder.
we have to go out in June and July, early July.
Yeah, so
We would have to go out in June because by July it would probably be going.
Right, too late.
May and June or just June?
Wow, I can't believe I'm looking at Pat Ford and
Yeah.
Deputy Brown's
Right.
signature on here.
I mean, that is the question here, like, the action is we can, send out a mailing for 2 months in advance of 4th of July and New Year's, or is it 1 month?
Well,
Or,
the prohibition only applies for July 4th. It doesn't apply at New Year. So it probably just,
well,
It says from June 23rd to July 9th.
yeah, I mean, we could still send it out regardless.
We could attach a copy of this as well.
Shoot them off at midnight,
So-
I mean, they start. They're getting stopping that.
Well,
So if there was an improvement with us mailing out the ordinance, I would suggest we just do that again.
that's
We attach a copy of the ordinance or
Since we
no?
don't have enforcement, but it just gives everybody a heads up. And we maybe add something in there due to drought conditions because we always have them in July.
Yeah, so make it specific for the time of the year, and so I would suggest a motion that we provide the city of Hayes residents a copy of the firework ordinance for 4th of July, prior to 4th of July and prior to New Year's.
New Year's.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone was shooting off guns.
Hopefully it wasn't for that, but that should be someone.
Okay.
I'll make that motion to send out to the residents prior, 2 times a year, prior to the month, in June and in November, December.
Yeah.
A copy of the fireworks ordinance
Okay, I'll second.
as a,
Okay, motion has been made, motion has been seconded, with tickets to a council vote, all in favor? All in favor.
Do we get a calendar for the city? Like, we can put these kinds of things on the calendar to remind ourselves that we need to do this.
Well, we got a really nice calendar that I just moved into the office, maybe we could just hang it right there.
Cynthia, is there a way that you can set a reminder on one of your calendars?
There is on Outlook, you can
You
send a
can,
reminder.
I'll look, and I can help you do that, if you don't.
Set a reminder this, that we need to
It'll
send this
pop
out.
up, yeah.
Thing, treasury, stuff, all the things that we do, it'd be great if we have, reminders and things like that, and getting time.
Yeah, can always forgetful, so
We just look at so busy.
So,
Okay, what's next?
thank you. 4G, take appropriate action on settlement offer from Milestone regarding the release of a portion of the city's water certificate of convenience and necessity.
Portion.
And
A portion?
we have no response from.
What came in? Did anything come in?
Last we heard,
that
Harvey's
was,
got
that was like
the-
the 10 grand or
We
something.
haven't opened.
The city has a CCN over a large area, and this is a portion area that's owned by Milestone. So that's the idea.
So the other smaller entity offered 10,000, gave us 10,000. I don't understand why Milestone is.
What was their offer, sir? Did they make an offer?
Huge.
They, to recall, they originally offered 5,000, now they've offered 10,000.
They owe us 10,000 already. They're gonna pay us with their own money?
Yeah.
That's the offer that you
Can we
have on the table.
Counter offer?
The, what?
Can we make a counter offer?
That
We
was-
already did that.
That was the counter, yeah.
Is it a winner take all or we take it or leave it?
So then, okay, you.
I remember what Mr. Cat said, and now we have to go to
got
having
appraisers,
appraiser
and then
processes and what have you.
Pay the appraisers, cost around 10,000.
Which would be $20,000.
Yeah. So,
There is. My understanding is that, this is the value of the CCN, which is what we have put into it. Could argue that the unpaid legal bills, about $20,000, have been an investment that they are declining to repay us. And so that's money that we put into CCN. I think Mr. Katz has not been too enthusiastic about marrying the unpaid legal bills to the CCN, saying they're two separate issues. But in my mind,
It's the same.
they're an issue because the city was actively negotiating with Milestone. It wasn't a real pretty one, but we had people going over a development agreement. And of course, once the law passed, they just
It's not big.
goodbye, and we're not gonna pay you. And so that's the argument for not settling at $10,000. The argument for settling at 10,000 is you get the sense from our attorney that that's really the best course for the city to get that behind us. There's a good argument for let's get this stuff behind us because it takes so much stress and energy from the city government. And, it's just really big petty to deal with us people.
but yeah,
May I ask Don a question? Regarding this? Don, just to refresh my memory and so I'll have a better understanding, sir. What benefit will Milestone have by us authorizing the release of the portion of the city's water certificate, the CCN? How will this benefit them to have the CCN? Because as we are trying to push back the wastewater treatment facility, is this going, is us accepting this offer going to facilitate that process for them?
The CCN, they going through the streamlined expedited review process. A CCN gives the owner, the city of Hayes in this case, the exclusive right of retail water service or wastewater service within the designated area. So the legislature several years ago provided this process where any property owner that owns 25 or more acres and file with the Public Utility Commission a 1-paragraph letter, 2-paragraph letter to withdraw the meets and bounds of the property outside any CCN. So this streamlined process allows each of the parties to do evaluation. It's already released, right? The map's gonna be prepared right away after the streamline. It's gonna go, it's not an appellate process. There's no hearing involved with this. That does sign off by the commissioners of the PUC, but it's a procedural matter all the way through. So what it does to pull this out of the city's water seats, that property, the Milestone property, out of the city's water CCN, it allows them to part of the process of creating the mud to provide the retail service.
Yeah, they don't need
Way
our approval anymore.
Correct.
Basically, they don't need approval anymore. They can move forward
With the CCN or without?
with the CCN
They don't need an approval anymore. if we
from
allow
us
CCN.
anymore, yeah.
How does this correlate with the ETJ to have a better understanding of that? With CCN and ETJ, they already have the ETJ. We don't know that there's an injunction filed as of yet to stop the ETJ releases, correct?
Okay.
So if they have both CCN and ETJ, how soon are we gonna start seeing the wastewater treatment facility? Yes, sir. Thank you, Don.
They have already withdrawn from the ETJ.
Yeah, they are,
It's already been done.
It's- And because there was no injunction filed or what have you, then
At
it's
the
been
time
allowed.
that they requested withdrawn from the ETJ
Next
on
day.
September 1st,
the
2023.
day it went into effect.
But weren't they following the new law? And I thought.
That was when the new law went into
But
effect.
even with, if there's an injunction, what we understood by Mr. Katz
Yes.
is that if there were an injunction that would put a hold
On.
on
They've
all
already,
releases.
it's already been done.
Right,
And the lawsuit was filed several months later.
But I thought he said that
I
if
did
the
too. I thought it was a
injunction
blanket.
happened, it would be statewide and
In reverse.
everybody would be a party to it, even if they didn't file. Is that
I
right?
did say that.
Well, I got the impression from him that if it had already been done, then, and this lawsuit was, I would say.
that wasn't my understanding. I believe that if the injunction was gonna be filed, sir, that everything would be put on hold. But if you're saying that they beat the clock by filing on day one, then they would not be grandfathered in? If there's an injunction?
That's right.
He's explaining.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Well, these are all legal questions. I can only speculate. And I don't think anybody knows. But when it's been a done deal before the lawsuit, it's more difficult to undo something that's been done. Whereas the latest party, we had, the lawsuit's been filed and we're not responding, so that's more easier.
Yeah.
That'll be two big victories with ETJ and CCN combined.
But they're two separate things.
It's still a
Would
big
it be
advancement for
prudent
them.
for us to just table this until Josh comes or should we vote to just accept it?
I'm just presenting
Yeah.
that this is the offer they have.
Is there a timeline for us to reply, sir? Sorry, sorry.
As far as I know, there's not a timeline. I'm sure they would like.
Yeah.
I think they would like, and
Right.
the city should respond in a timely manner.
So there's two options here, right? Mr. Katz has been telling us for 2 months, this is what you should do. We asked a couple of questions, been in executive session, asked her questions, but if council does not go 100% on board with that until Mr. Katz comes back, we should table it or accept what Mr. Katz has been telling us for 2 months.
He's gonna say the
Just
same
He's
thing.
going to tell us the same thing over
Yeah.
again.
We're going to
And then
incur
this is
more
just-
legal fees over something that he's already told us.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Well said.
Is that rain or hail?
I don't know, I was wondering about that because we were subject
Metal
to
roof, so it's-
posters today. They said we might have some.
So,
I'll make the motion that we go ahead and accept Milestone's offer regarding the release of the portion of the city's water certificate of convenience and necessity.
okay, motion has been made. Is there a second?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Hold a friend. Don, do you think it's in our best interest to do this?
Oh, I'm sorry, that's way out of line.
It's up to the city.
Is it gonna facilitate their building that wastewater treatment facility by allowing the release of the CCN 30 days? If we wait 30 days or not?
Okay, my understanding of, there is a timeline, I think it's 90 days after the PUC actually enters the order to their commissioners. But there's a legal timeline to do these valuations. It's triggered based on some PUC action. So that's my understanding. Okay, I'm a lawyer, but that's my understanding.
For the time that they provided the offer of $10,000, what is the timeline that we have to reply, whether we accept or deny?
Don't remember,
That I don't know.
but 90 days.
I'm referring to what the code says as far as doing the valuation studies.
Yeah,
It provides an opportunity for the city in this case to do evaluation,
We don't want
appraisal,
to
if
that.
you would, as well as the applicant, as well as Milestone in this case. And if those two appraisers doesn't agree, then it could settle, or it could, PUC can hire their own appraiser.
Right.
Appraise it, and that's fine.
Right, I just don't know is, do we have an extra 30 days to hold
I just.
our offer, to accept the offer?
Too much.
To not, but they just submit, when did they provide the offer? What day did they provide the $10,000 offer?
the day. It's been
I think 2
maybe a couple of weeks.
weeks.
2 weeks?
Oh, it's been longer than,
No, we
he
talked about
he told us that at the last meeting.
That was 4 weeks ago.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, he did.
And the offer-
Oh, it was 5,000. When did it go up to 10? It
Oh,
was 5,000 originally.
Absolutely since the last meeting.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay.
But otherwise,
So in December, it was already 10.
sorry.
No, it
December.
wasn't 10. I
It was 5 in December and now it's 10?
He talked about at any, whatever, getting the appraisers and all of that.
You're right.
Yes, and believe it was still a $5,000.
Okay, so motion has been made. Is there a second to the motion?
I would like to, I would like to know if we have more time to stall. So we're doing stalling for time. So,
Without penalty, if we have more time.
We don't.
Go ahead, sir, I'm sorry. No, no. go ahead.
My opinion is the city should be thinking of this and other issues regarding Milestone is what is in the best interest of the city. Not how we can hurt Milestone or delay them or
No,
whatever.
no, it's not to hurt them. It's to give us time to know what we're up against as well.
I believe
I'm
that we
just,
got-
I'm just telling you that's my opinion, and so we should think of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's
Well, then you gotta weigh $10,000 on one hand or an expedited wastewater treatment plant right behind here on the other. So, I mean, I realize that it's probably going to happen anyway. I don't know, I just don't know if I'm ready to sign off on the $10,000 now.
Where are we in the process where we provided comments to, or is it to the aquifer or to the permit that Milestone was seeking? Did we ever hear back on that?
TC.
Right, did we hear back on that?
That doesn't have anything to do with this issue.
It's
No,
been
it's
put
not.
on,
So
that's gotta do with getting. one.
again,
Right.
a motion has been
Yeah.
made. Okay, we're sticking to this agenda item. Is there a
Are
second?
we gonna incur more legal expenses by waiting?
Yes,
we're-
if Josh comes
We're
and
paying
explains this,
Mr. Katz $250 an hour
he will charge for the time. But again,
to tell us the same
A
thing that he's
majority.
told us.
of the
Before.
votes to pass and the second to the motion to even go to a council vote. So
Actually, he wouldn't be telling us the same thing as before because the $10,000 offer came after our last meeting.
But I see a little bit.
I'll make a
differently.
motion that we table until we
We
get
already have a
legal.
motion.
Oh,
We're in the middle of a motion.
we're in the middle of motion, all right.
Discussion.
yeah,
Gonna make it.
I don't know, do you have to amend it or how does that?
no, it just doesn't pass. If there's not a second to it, then it dies. So, all right.
I personally would just like more time or maybe to speak to Mr. Katz to see what options are.
I think you can make a new motion.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to talk to the legal attorney concerning the time that we have. If there's any more time, if we don't, when we talk to them, then we decision. We don't have any more time. Or Mr. Katz, legal expertise, tell us.
The motion should be to table this with more information from Mr. Katz at the next meeting.
Okay,
So,
okay, let's do that.
all right, so Lionel's original motion, that is a new motion. Tony? Is that you?
Yes,
You make a motion,
I make a motion to table this until get legal advice from Mr. Katz.
okay,
Okay,
motion has been made, is there a second?
second.
Second. Okay, let's take it to a council vote, all in favor? 4 in favor. Okay.
So we have till February 12th, the next
So
meeting.
now voting against it?
Yeah, you have to
Yeah.
ask her for her vote.
No, we're.
I'm
Abstain.
voting-
To abstain
no, I'm
or
voting
voted no?
against.
Voted against.
We're tabling to.
Against, not abstain, right?
Okay. All right, moving on to agenda item 5, unfinished business, to receive updates, take appropriate action regarding Hayes Commons development application to the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality to create a municipal utility district within the city of Hayes, former ETJ.
My last conversation with, Mr. Katz, there's no update on this issue.
Thank you, sir.
All right, moving on to agenda item 5A. Receive updates and take appropriate action on office, organization, immigrants, and IT project.
We have, on the IT projects, we have computers. It's been a nice, morning with, the IT consultant came out here, installed the computers. They're going nicely, like Miss McCall, your computer's going great.
Yeah, fired it up right away. Yeah.
So, and this computer's going just fine, so we're happy with that. The second project that they're doing for us is they're helping us update the website, and that's an ongoing project. One of the things is to get the calendar up and going so that we can, we were talking about the calendar. That's an important thing. That'll be on the front page. But we're hopefully with the website can be a lot better than it used to be, but
It's already much better.
Yeah, it's already.
Thank you so much, Mayor Harvey.
Better. What about offering a link to the taped council meetings for? the
That's
general
that's
public?
that's a to do.
It's on the, still on the to-do list.
Yes, been thinking about it. You know. As far as FEMA grants, we did get finally the money, $7,300 from FEMA and, so, but the other grant is on the generator for, that's another agenda item. We don't have any update on that issue. So,
Is that it? Or go
I
ahead.
think she has a.
I'd like to know if I can have the gentleman's information. I need tech support again for my Outlook account. I can't access my account.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. He's having
Well-
trouble too.
Me too.
He's laughing at me, but he's having trouble too. We just need to call him to help us through it.
Are you not able to access your email?
Correct.
Correct.
It's not gonna be-
And
It happened to us before.
He got you all set up, didn't he?
Right, right,
He
it
took
did.
control of your computer
Right.
and got it
I
set
don't
up.
remember if he took control of it, but
Yeah.
we only had a half-hour session.
What happened?
I
Did
can't
he-
access my account.
Yeah, you just, you need to, I don't know, like set up an appointment through their
Yeah.
website card and then they'll call you.
Okay.
Well,
I'll send you
Yeah,
this, contact him.
he's supposed to
Well,
like
there's three
email.
of us that need tech support,
Yeah, he's supposed to email you the contact time and
right? And
you
accept the
can't-
appointment and all
you
that.
can't get into it then.
Yeah, that makes it hard if I can't get in my account at all.
Yeah.
I use Outlook every day for my work with the state, but I'm having trouble accessing that account.
Well,
And I don't use one of the same laptops still.
yeah. They're not cheap, but we need.
I need access to my account. I'd like to be able to review everything that's coming in every day.
It's on it. Everything.
I know, I would love to
Wait,
see
so what
my
is- so what
information.
is that? So does it just keep opening your work one? That's it?
No, two separate systems. So Candace was saying that I could get it on my phone
I only.
and I could access it there. So I'd like help doing that
You just put the app
It's
on,
an
put the app,
and then do it there
And then
because
it's right up at your.
I don't remember all that.
Log in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just
yeah,
right
you can
on the
put an
front.
Outlook app on your phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah.
share the
I
information.
will forward you.
To my Gmail because I don't have access to my other email. Or even a texter would be fine.
Yeah. Is there any more?
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry to be so much
I'll
trouble,
look at this.
Thank you.
but I'd love to have it on my phone, because I have my phone with me all the time.
Okay, we're moving on to 5J.
Thank you.
Receive updates and take appropriate
Right.
action regarding upgrades to the city of Hayes and Elliott French Pump
I
Station.
don't think there are any updates. I think, Zach did provide some updates, to the LA Ranch people and us, and you don't have any of them.
I do not have any updates.
Yeah. So it's not a project that's completed yet, but partially.
How was the Christmas party, Mayor Harvey?
But the Christmas party was so.
Oh,
It was, I took my wife and this dance
feel bad we
place
missed it.
was a little further than I thought. And then, they did not have handicap.
oh, no.
Oh.
Parking.
stuff, and it was really hard getting up there and it was gravel. But once inside, it was kind of nice, we didn't know anybody. We met some people that PGMS has a lot of water systems in the Brenham area.
Okay.
And we met some nice people that worked for PGMS that were there.
Great.
Thank you for sharing. Nice.
Pretty good time.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, moving on to
I got a
5K, receive updates and take appropriate action on proposed well number 3 on Country Lane.
Good evening again. I checked with, as you know, we filed the application for well number 3 in November, and I checked the TCEQ website this morning, and they were supposed to have their letter of review of whatever conditions they put on it by January 28th of this year.
Great.
Wow, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Moving on to 5L, receive updates and take appropriate action regarding the installation of generators for the city pays and LES branch well sites.
And again, there's no update on this issue, unfortunately.
Everyone,
Yes, ma'am.
A couple of months ago, we tabled the issue about going ahead and purchasing the generators ahead of getting grants, just because of
Cost
cost increases, the lead time to get those. And we never know when we might have an event that would put our water system out, that a generator
Correct.
would keep it up.
Correct.
Yeah,
And I think we owe it to our citizens to be prudent in that way.
yeah, how long we've been talking about this for a good.
Right.
Years.
like, Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
We spent quite a bit of money on IT projects this year. And, those are good. But I think just the generators, I believe,
The lifeblood, right, because
I think our
Leads to
citizens would
sales
rather
and-
have
and-
citizens water rather than a real fancy looking website. That's my opinion.
We could have both, but water's always been the highest priority for us.
so.
We said that in the last election, that water was the most important.
Yes.
Considering the well was broke for like, what, 2 years before we even made any movement on
Since
it.
2019, I believe.
So we can thank the former regime for that.
Absolutely.
So I guess what should we discuss? Maybe just buying these then?
Add it as is
Yeah,
it already a line item? We can add it to the next one.
there's no
well, that's
action
the
taken
action.
here.
Yeah, there's action, because we've been talking about this for.
Receive and
months,
take
right?
appropriate action regarding the
Yes,
installation.
so we can.
Again,
Do we have the cost? It's not be here.
it won't be here in time for this.
Well, the spring or summer, either way, we need water.
Either way, if we act on it and get it in the works, rather than putting.
I don't know why I thought we already put a deposit down on them.
Because at one point, the lead time was like 9 months
Yeah.
for
That's a
one,
question.
right?
Mr. Davis first,
Fine.
you had your hand raised.
Thank you. The generator project, if we self-finance that, it's well over $100,000. So it will be a big expense for the city to eat. But you compare it to the IT projects, I mean, we're talking about $10,000.
Minimal.
I mean, there's kind of a different source of magnitude, but I agree, water is the most important thing.
We don't know when we're gonna get approval on these grants. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting on them.
Yes, and I called Adura today to, but no, they haven't called back.
If we ordered them today, would that jeopardize our reimbursement from a grant?
That's the understanding.
It is.
Do we have a timeline for the response from the grant application? Do we have a timeline on that? Realistically,
That grant was submitted almost 2 years ago. Last June, FEMA sent it back to the state with questions. Don and myself worked and sweated and worked and worked and worked to respond to the state so that then they could take it and send it back up to FEMA. So as far as we know, that's where it is. Unfortunately, we have this company, the original grant was prepared by this company called Adura. And Adura, Don called and called and called and called with messages. Courtney, and she never called back. And we thought, well, she's left there. We didn't,
send her certified mail.
we came in cold because we didn't do the grant. That was done by Adura and with Connie and all that. And it was already submitted when we got involved. So it was like we were in there cold and we're not grant experts like you, Lydia. And so we didn't, we kind of were on the job learning kind of thing. And, but that's just a long story. Of course, I'd hate to see all our great work, blood, sweat and tears.
What is the value of that application, sir?
Let me finish.
Yes, sir.
Be not bear fruit with the grant, a successful grant, but, these grants, it's a mess. It's just a mess.
So Mr. Don first, and then you,
Oh,
you're standing up.
I guess, so just want to report to your question. So I did check with several vendors on delivery times. The 60 kilowatt generator, the spec for the Elliott Ranch was 4 to 6 weeks. But they wanted 40% down first, and then they'll want the rest of the money on delivery. It was interesting, the 50 kilowatt generator spec for the Tanglewood system was like 7 months out. Or the 60 or 50 kilowatt is quite a disturbance in time.
What's the cost between the 60 and the 50?
They have,
Pardon?
The question is, we have a water well that's down that we're gonna get permission to put back in service. So once we get it in service, we have 2 water wells. So if one goes down, we'll have the other one. And I was thinking that we could wait a little more time to see if we get the $100,000 grant. I mean, that's what I was thinking, we go from there.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll defer to Mr. Harvey.
Thank you. My understanding of the generator is, that's the pump station. It doesn't really make a difference whether you have backup well or not. It's the pump station gets lightning. When I was a mayor, we did have lightning issues that messed up the pump station. And the generator is, I think, if I'm not correct, the generator is sort of, if we have a lightning strike, it will
Protect.
save the backup.
Unless you burn out the pump with a lightning strike, which has happened several times. I know Wayne Ford always had a pump on handy. He could get that thing changed out in an hour and a half. But yeah, it has burnt out the pump on occasion, and that's beyond what a generator can fix.
What's our timeline for the second well to be up and running? Ballpark?
Wait, we're still talking about generators. So,
Yes.
so here's what I would suggest is, like, if we want to wait a couple more months, we need to set just like an absolute, like, is it 2 months we're gonna wait before we have to buy these, or should buy them? Or is it 3 months, or the 4 months, or do we buy them? Say, yes, we buy them today. That's what we need to, have a decision of when is the latest that we want to wait as a city to either procure these on our own or, give Badura time to really do their job. So.
What about meeting in the middle and getting a generator for one and waiting on the other so that we have an opportunity to get some grant funding to reimburse us at least for one?
We can do that too.
And what is the difference between the 60 kilowatt and the 50 with a 2-month timeline versus a 7?
So
Dollar wise,
we're not gonna get it by this winter anyway.
Dollar wise?
Done.
it doesn't matter, like, if it's.
Dollar wise, Don, if there's a 60 kilowatt that you said could come in 2 months, right? Versus the 50 kilowatt, 3?
60 days.
60 kilowatt generator spec for the Elliott Ranch system.
Elliott Ranch.
For Elliott Ranch
Uh-huh.
is 4 to 6 weeks with
That's pretty
40%
quick
down.
for Elliott Ranch.
The generators are running about, for 60 kilowatt generator runs about $26,000.
Well, that's our revenue source, so that's very important.
Include the propane tanks
Right.
and installation. That's just.
And what about for ours, the sole well that we have operating in our city?
So what's the
What
question?
about the one for our well?
Right, for the city, it's a 50 kilowatt generator that has about twice the lead time to get it in.
And we can't use the 60 for that? Is it,
You could.
I don't know any
But
better,
what's
but is it a
approved
60?
by
or
the
50?
state is a 50. But you could definitely solve 60, it'd cost a bit more, but it,
How much more?
availability of a, right for Christmas check is in what, 4 to 6 week timeframe would be a 60.
Is there a difference between 50 and 60 as far as the purpose for which we need?
What would be the cost? Don?
This could secure our water for our city, right?
Thank you. My understanding, Don, is that we have gotten approval for the 60 and the 50. So if we changed and said we want the 60 here instead of the 50, we'd have to go through another process with the state. So we've kind of gone over that hurdle. You don't really want to go back over that hurdle again.
Can it be amended to 260?
Emergency preparedness plan was the first step that the legislature set out for these emergency generators without providing any money. It's all, both of them were approved for Elliott Ranch and for Englewood, the Hayes system. But the next step is to submit the plans and specs to the Water Supply Division if they're approved. Okay. We have held off on any design on that because I think the Adura was, grant people were gonna, it was Adura that was gonna do the design and the application, the TCEQ stuff, all under the grant. Right. So I'm really happy to go ahead and submit, prepare the plans and specs. I got site plans for both and submit them to TCEQ, Water Supply Division for. And, if the council elects to purchase the out of cash on hand, you just have to be aware that any grant that's under this TDM umbrella, FEMA, cannot be used to reimburse you for expenses up to that grant, prior to the grant being issued. All right.
No cost reimbursement
No
basis.
cost. Under that particular grant, and maybe there's others, but under the, is that correct?
That's what we were told. Yeah. Yeah.
You go ahead.
Is there any way that we can send a certified letter to Adura or whomever is holding the grant to ask for a status update? Certified letter. Can we do that? Would that help?
I don't think so. I think the lady that we found that we could work with at Adura, not Courtney, it's somebody named Molly. Molly's also the mayor of San Leanna. And
Can we just go see her?
and our city engineer used to be the mayor of San Leanna.
Right.
So they have,
Many years ago, many decades ago.
so they're friends. Yeah, your friends are Molly.
Oh, we can't call Molly to do
Molly's
anything.
like real down to earth and very responsive. I exchanged emails to her today, but unfortunately the email was a Gmail and not her Adura email. So I have a sneaking suspicion that she's not an employee of Adura anymore, of which I'll actually call her and clarify.
If we can move a mountain, that would help us in so many ways.
But we'll get Adura responsive, but
I would send
Yeah,
a certified mail asking for a status update because that's, people tend to move when they receive those.
saying, but it's all FEMA.
They move a little more too.
FEMA and the federal government is they're overwhelmed because there's a lot of people getting grants. We have this infrastructure thing. All this
The
stuff
bilateral
going,
infrastructure law bill, yes.
and they, so they're overwhelmed, and both FEMA and the state have terrible software for these grants. I mean, it's just a nightmare working with their software. And, so
Okay, so I mean,
I will find out more about that, and if you all want to proceed on. I will say that when Adura did the original grant, it was like $450,000. So it was a huge grant, and when we worked on it and we we went over the figures and, it just seemed like they were doubling stuff. And, but I think what we had was like 250,000. So that's kind of the ballpark we're talking about that would cost the city to do this one.
They'll call design, construction and installment,
Yeah, that's-
everything.
Yes, sir, it's through installation.
What was that figure again for both?
250,000.
About 200,000.
200,000
250.
for both, with
250,000.
everything, yeah, everything. Well,
And can we start on anything so we can make some progress?
yeah, that's. the
And pay out of
question.
pocket for some portion of it and then hold off in hopes that we do get some funding. Just get the ball rolling. We can check one box that we did,
I think
either Elliott Ranch or protect our own city. The one's our funding source and the other is our own city water.
I guess could we like buy the generators and get the generators and hold them?
yeah.
Because they're
Maybe
not
hold them.
all that expensive.
You have to find storage.
Then,
Yeah.
and then if we get the
Security.
grant, we wouldn't be.
Generally, contractors won't give
It's
you a
about
warranty if they don't buy it themselves.
Right.
So, go ahead.
What, I would like to get the well that's out of commission in service. That would be a first priority. It doesn't need a generator. It just needs.
That's not.
And the question,
not the-
yeah, but it ties into it, because we have two working wells. If one goes down, we have the other one. Right now, you're con, wait, hold it. Right now, you're concerned that the well goes down, then we don't have any water. Well, let's get the other one on, and in the meantime,
have that
we
agenda
can,
for next month.
we can work with the grant people and see if they give us a schedule or something. If we don't get a schedule, then we can vote and say, here's our drop dead date that we're gonna go ahead and go through with it and spend 250,000 of city money to get it done.
The generators for the pump,
Yeah.
not the well.
Not the well.
Right.
Yeah, I know,
If the pump
I
doesn't
know.
work, Then
In case the pump
none
goes
of the
down,
wells
I guess.
work.
Even if we fix well number 3, if the pump isn't working on well number, on Tanglewood, you can't pump
It
water
doesn't-
from number
yeah,
3 to number 1. It
If
doesn't
if
matter.
the pump isn't sucking the water into the tank. we're all-
Taking sand,
That's-
drinking
we have
sand that
two.
week.
Okay,
We
so
only have one
I
pump.
guess
Oh, it's getting late.
I guess there's no action. That would be my suggestion. But I do like the
Follow motion.
conversation, right?
No, I didn't.
These are the conversations that city needs to have, right? So that's good. That our conversation doesn't look like we could move forward. Mr. Davis?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I will really push on Odura and I will give you an update, an email updated with blank over copies to council, so you all will be informed.
Thank you, sir.
The
Thank you.
everything.
Thank you.
Okay,
This is really important.
it is, and thank you for everyone for, chiming in and discussing this. Obviously, we know how important water is, and so we need to have more of these conversations at every meeting until we can get something moving. So for the time being, this will be tabled. Again, more of an update for next month. Hopefully a good one, and we'll just leave it at that for now. So we'll move on to agenda item 5M. Take action and receive update regarding brush near Englewood.
I think I gave you an email update.
Did,
That's it. Mr. Cook will be picking up the brush over the next couple of weekends. So he can only work on Saturdays. He also asked permission. He has, his wagon, on the back of the truck. He asked if he could put it in the yard. And I said, yes, because he has to store it in Blankville, so he doesn't want to go back and forth to Blankville. So that's all.
Is this the gentleman who picked up the stuff after the freeze?
Yeah,
I
it
do
is.
think that this is, I mean, it looks really nice
It does.
and,
And
but it's all gonna
He
go
didn't have the
back.
allocation that we made, so.
Yeah.
We were at 35. How much did it come in?
Go ahead.
None.
So Mayor Steers talking? You're
Well, let me,
oh,
I did have the floor.
yeah, right.
Uh,
I thought you were done.
It does look real nice. I think it will all grow back.
Oh.
If we we don't clean it up every couple of years or something, but and I don't think, as far as coyote, I don't think it's gonna do one thing for the coyotes,
No, I don't think so.
but, we get it under budget.
Well, at least they're not hanging out in the brush right next to Hannah's chickens, because that was a convenient place for them to hang out and stalk the chickens. So hopefully we've satisfied Hannah to the point to where, she can look through there and see that there's no coyotes looking out. And then also Matthew Sweet, the other neighbor, wanted a strip left so that, he's got some privacy there, and we did that for him too. So we satisfied that neighbor as well, which was good all the way around. Plus he came in at what, 2,000, projected 2,000, and that was even after hauling brush.
Yeah.
2,000.
Yep.
So, cheaper than the 3,500.
But on I just want to make sure on our next, meeting that we have a connection that we providing, water to some other entity. What, remember, I thought I read it someplace in my old correspondence. There was a connection made by TMS, connect water to, we're selling water to somebody else besides the other branch. Forest. And
Wait,
I just put it on the
We're-
next agenda,
we're-
please.
That's
I
not
just-
on, that's
I
not an
just-
agenda item.
Just email.
I just
We
emailed
have
it to
access
put in.
to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on,
We don't have access to it.
yeah, we're on the agenda item, and so.
Okay,
Davis,
that's
are you done with
my
that?
question.
Mr. Davis, is that it, or was there anything?
Yes,
else?
sir.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
Mayor, can Doc go here from Tiger?
Oh, yeah, it doesn't have to be here. Don, yeah. can
Thank you,
go.
Don. Don, have a good evening, Don. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank
Yeah. And if we need to move things around, we can just move things around. So, let's do that next.
Yeah.
All right, so, agenda item 5 and receive update on Hartford insurance claim.
We'll need Josh for that, I think, right?
Pending.
Yeah.
Well, there's really no update. The Hartford did send us an email saying what's the status, and we said, well, we're waiting for Internal Revenue Service to respond to our request for refunds of taxes and penalties. And as soon as we get a response, we'll let them know. So
IRS is taking forever. They're taking forever, right?
I just got a bunch of letters and they all said, we need 60 more days to respond. So
61.
that's it, but,
That's the update.
you know,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and going to our last agenda item, 5O, discuss and take appropriate action regarding the May 4th, 2023 election.
well, Cynthia and I are in progress of learning about elections. And she sent out emails to the school district, Tim Savoy, who responded very nicely, very a lot of detail, wants to be helpful. And to the Hayes County election
Jennifer, okay.
people. I do know the one thing that we do,
Okay.
the one thing that we do need to do is to put a notice on all the boards telling people, you could, we're having an election and you could file starting January 17th through February 16th, I think. So that needs to be on the board. It is on the website. It's been on the website for a long time.
January 17th to,
I think February 16th.
and the packets will be available here at City Hall. The packets will be available here at City Hall.
The packets will be here. Yes. As we get them ready, right? Right, Cynthia?
It is. Yeah, but what are we putting on the boards
We need seven.
for the 17th
Yes. For the
Yeah,
17th.
to vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need it on the boards really ASAP.
Yeah.
Don't we need to notify a certain entity that we're gonna piggyback on their election at
We've already done that.
Already did that earlier.
We did that and approved
Okay,
We did that 2 months ago.
November.
nice.
Yeah.
But again, Tim is a really nice guy, and he's gonna be helpful.
Do we have a list
Yeah.
of trainings available for council members?
Okay.
Oh, well,
Alright.
for
State.
elections.
No, so I'm gonna close this meeting.
Oh,
You can
oh,
ask afterwards. So thanks, everyone. That concludes our meeting. It's 8:27 or 8:29.
Yeah, I'm just not scared.
Thank you.
Where can we find the list of trainings available for council members?